Hi everyone, and welcome to another modern video where we're going to finish up our league. Well, this is going to be another bonus video actually, because I'm gonna view the replay of the league. If you don't remember, in the last video I meant to play my friendly league, which I was playing for fun, and I played the last two rounds accidentally playing the competitive league. And so I'm going to review the competitive league, and then we'll play the last round of a league and the friendly league live for you guys to watch. You might hear some noise in the background. My wife's back there with my son Felix. Actually, hold on a second. Well, this is Felix. I know some of you have been, hi buddy, hi little man. I know some of you have been watching my videos for, I hate that, I need to get better lighting. This orange light, I hate it. I know some of you have been watching my videos since I lived in Hawaii, and you watched me when I moved to Europe, and you know that I took a break. Oh, what did I do? You watched me when I took a break? Well, this is why I took a long break, and he's all older now. He's very independent, aren't you? Such an independent guy. Let's see here. This is Felix. What are you doing? Do you see us over there? Yeah. Anyway, okay, well that's that guy. Okay. So we're going to play round, like I said, I already told you what we're going to do. We're going to do it using old school Jeskai Geist. And then I think next week I'm either going to play a completely different version of... Okay, sorry, I had to cut away again. My daughter has apparently been feeding herself cookies all day, and my wife was like, "What do you can't just eat cookies all day." She's 15, so teenagers, I guess. Who some of you are probably teenagers, so no offense intended. Anyway, so next week I might go back and look at, say, this list, which is a few more counter spells. They're all very similar, really. This one actually normally has 2 Restoration Angels and 2 Cryptic Commands, but I think there's a balance between the two. And the reason I say that is... This is the first video I'm recording with during the day, with my son up. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's making a lot of noise. He's watching my wife row, and that is apparently the funniest thing he's ever seen in his life. But anyway, what I was going to say is just there's some things that I think are true. I think it's true that that Remand is great in a Geist deck. However, there are times when you really need to counter things, and so I think I think Remand's gotten a little bit better. I think the format has slowed down just a bit. I think there's still plenty of decks it's not good against. It's ridiculous against Dredge. It's ridiculous against... there's not as much Infect right now. It's not good versus Infect. It's not good versus Death Shadow aggro. It's not good versus Burn. It's not good if you're more of the Burn too. There's lots of decks it's not good against. But there is more Abzan. It's actually quite good against Abzan. Anyway, so I think there's probably, Electrolyze, I also didn't run it. It's kind of our clunkiest burn spell, but the cantrip mean is nice, and it's nice to... So I don't know. Maybe there's a mix here of, some way to not be all in on Remands, but still have some. Maybe you'd want no Electrolyzes or one and a Spell Queller. We'll talk about it. I'm not going to try to fix that problem now. What we're going to do is go to a review. Just one second. And just like that, I magically changed clothes, and it's a different time of day. When I started the introduction that you just saw, I had fully intended to record matches, but my son was, who you were just introduced to, from your perspective, my son was being very vocal, and so I wasn't really able to record the video. I could have, but he was like babbling off in the corner with my wife, and I'm just kind of a bad multitasker, I guess, and I'm a parent, so his his speech and his cries and his little noises and various things like that obviously distract me. So I thought, you know what, I'll save the intro and I'll put it on hold and I'll finish the video later. So here we are, Sunday, a couple hours before dinner, and we're going to play some Magic. So I must have already talked about this list, so let's go ahead and just jump into a... Oh, that's right. I accidentally played the competitive league that I meant to record for you guys, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the competitive league that I actually accidentally played, and then we'll go ahead and live play the friendly league that I had meant to play instead of the competitive games. So just a second. Okay, here we go. And as I said, I didn't actually say, but I kind of think that the pre-recorded content is not as interesting, not as desired, so I'm going to try to just breeze through it a little on the fast side. Okay, so opponent is Matt Rogers. I probably kept this hand and wasn't thrilled about it just because it's a little slow, but I can go... Like, every land is going to... Basically, this could come into play untapped. This has to come into play untapped, and then we can play this. The alternative is we go like this, and then this. Maybe we can remand, but then this comes into play untapped. So the mana's kind of weird, partly because of Shinka the Bloodsoaked Cube, which I was experimenting with. It doesn't work with Sulfur Falls. So probably kept it. Hierarch, not sure what that means yet. Obviously, we're going to bolt it. Facing down a Tarmogoyf. We led with Shinka to kill the Noble, but obviously now it's annoying in that our colony comes into play untapped. However, we do have a slow, if not awkward, answer to everything on the table here thus far. Click, click, click. I know it's probably super annoying. This is one of those situations where I don't know why it won't advance unless the replay's broken. What if I hit play? Okay, there we go. Play. Okay, so he attacks. I don't remember what I did. It's possible I opted to take. Yeah, just so that I can, assuming I'm going to remand the back half of Lingering Souls. It's not that I wanted to take the damage, but right now I can deal with 2 spirits and a Goyf. There's also a chance that this cantrips us into a land, which it does, so then we can electrolyze and path all together. Which I imagine is what we do here. So things aren't looking, they're not looking too bad. So our opponent chooses to play Rhino, which is going to deal us more damage, but we do have a snap path to exile, so it's also not the end of the world. So we will actually, at some point, what we're kind of hoping to do is maybe get this Geist into play onto an empty or relatively empty board. So we go ahead and electrolyze, draw land, path the Goyf. I don't remember why I shocked, actually. That may have just been a mistake. There may have been a reason. What was I thinking of? Because I obviously have to snap path, so that's going to take 3. And I don't think there was a huge incentive to just bluff anything. I think I may have just shocked without fully counting up the mana for what I was doing. Because I don't think that there's a reason to. Or maybe I was thinking... I might have thought that if he's going to play Liliana and down tick, then we can flash in this other Snapcaster Mage or something, but... It'd be nice to draw a land. We have a couple different options. We can draw land. Sorry, I had to step away for just a second. What I was saying is it'd be nice if we can draw a land, because what we'd really like to do is he doesn't have any green mana up. We want to take care of the Scavenging Ooze while we can. And one nice thing would be to Snapcaster Mage and electrolyze the Ooze. which is very reasonable considering this is an attrition-based matchup and that's card advantage. Another option is that we Restoration Angel to bounce Snapcaster Mage, get a second use out of it, and bolt a Scavenging Ooze, but there's an issue there where he could technically pass the Snapcaster Mage in response. But what I think would probably be the best is if we drew a land and allowed us to just go Snapcaster Mage, bolt this thing, attack with Snapcaster Mage, and play Geist. Then we sort of assemble, which we did, and I would imagine that's what I do, because it just kind of allows us to be the most productive with this turn. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Now, this is interesting because normally this would be a mountain, which it caused us problems earlier, but now, while we don't have an Iganjo castle, we do have a Shinka, so in the face of Lingering Souls, we have, we have a way to keep our Geist alive. I didn't attack. That was probably just a mistake on my part. Probably just misclicked. I would assume I'm just taking this. Oh, I chose to block. Because I think I potentially don't care about. I guess the alternative here is he probably has a removal spell, so if we just take 2 and then go to 2, and we want to block with our Restoration Angel, yeah, it actually doesn't matter because then we can still just go to blocks with anything we want. So I don't really think that was a good block on my part. See, because here we would have, if I would be at 2, but now I can just, he would have attacked, we would have gone to 2, we attack back with Geist of St. Traff, we would end up drawing the Ghost Quarter, which would have been fantastic. We would have had 2 Snapcaster Mages on board. Instead of attacking for 6, I guess he would have eventually pathed one of them. But then we could have gone to blocks, right? We could just wait till he fires up on the next attack, flash in Restoration Angel or Vendilion Click, or flashed in Vendilion Click and then Restoration. What would have been great is we could have flashed in Vendilion Click, and then when he tries to path it, assuming he has a path, we Restoration Angel it in response and kind of get to take apart his hand how we want to. And then we still can move to blocks. So I think that would have been much better play than what I did there. So we go for the draw step. If I had to guess, I would say that we took the Maelstrom Pulse just so that he doesn't have an answer to our other creatures. He Thought Seizes, to which of course we flash in Restoration Angel. And then we actually get to take a look at his hand again. See that he drew an Inquisition, which is of course dead, so we're not going to take anything, leave all that. So obviously now this game is really turned around in our favor. We can fire everything up and leave the Ghost Quarter back, and our opponent concedes. Okay, so let's take a look at game 2. Actually, I don't know if I did this for the last video, but as far as I think I was running the Spell Pierce configuration. What I probably would have done is brought in the Engineered Explosives. They're okay against Lingering Souls, but a lot of his threats cost 2. I probably would have kept in. What would I have taken out? I probably would have cut some Helixes. I would have. Yeah, I think I probably would have done this. This is not the same list because I don't think I'm running 4. Maybe I am running 4 Helixes. I probably would have done that. Brought in the Ancestral Vision. Brought in a Cryptic Command. Probably would have brought in another Hellkite. I would have cut the clicks because they're not great against Lingering Souls. So that would have been 3, 4, 5. I probably would have tried to find some room for the Static Casters as well. I might have trimmed a Geist of St. Traff just because it can be difficult to punch him through Lingering Souls. Something like that. So let's take a look at the game. Alright, so this would have been game 2 versus Abzan. Hand's reasonable. We have counter magic for an early threat. We have removal. I might have even taken out a number of bolts because it doesn't kill a lot of his things. want to play a fetch land that allows us to get a blue for the spell snare if he goes like Goy for something. Happy to spell snare that rather than obviously accelerate him for no reason. Looks like the opponent might have tanked a little bit for some reason. Inquisition, we just let that happen. We get our red source. He took our... So I probably should have slammed the Geist because we didn't see Liliana, but I was really worried about playing Geist into Liliana. And it ended up that there was an old phrase that we used to utter a lot, which was like, and I say we, it was like sort of Scott McCallum, Jason Clark, Larry Swayze, back when we were playing this sort of 4-man version of Geist. And it was like really the three core of them. We had a group chat, and I would offer up my opinions on various things, and I obviously played the deck as well. But they, at that point in time, they were sort of the more like prolific players, I guess you could say. And they went to a GP and all day 2 together and stuff like that. But anyway, one of the sort of rules, the unwritten rules, was always jam, and that was with Geist. Like, when you just always do it, because that's really how the deck is going to function. Like, sometimes it may not work out for you, but if they don't have an immediate answer, then you're probably just going to run away with the game. Like, if you can have a Geist on the board and then untap and start dictating the game, things are going to be in your favor. And the other thing we said, which is, play to win, don't play not to lose. And so here I was very much playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And so this allows my opponent to play a Fulminator Mage, and then we get behind on mana, and I think this was annoying. So I wised up. I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the play not to lose. I had sort of walked myself through this, and I had a very unfortunate misclick. I can't rewind the video that easily. I know I meant to grab a white source. It may have even been a Plains, and I accidentally grabbed a Steam Vents. Super disappointing, because now not only did we make a mistake when we should have played Geist, we didn't. Now I got the wrong land. Now I can't play Geist. And so the game just starts really running away from me. Now we have to deal with this Gideon. We have a Cryptic. Now we have 3 in the deck, so there is a potential to bounce it. I could have tapped. I could have bounced Gideon, but it just didn't seem great because now he just gets to replay the Gideon. If I bounce it, he just replays Gideon, and what have I really accomplished? So here, I want to say that I counterbounced just because, I'm at 8 life, and he is obviously beginning to really pressure my life total. Remand could be nice, but we're still just really screwed on mana. And this could have even if things had gone differently, this very much could have been a situation where we bounced the Gideon with a Geist in play, and maybe there's a way to deal with this Knight ally. And now we have this is one way you can win against Abzan playing Geist, which is you have a Geist in, like if this Geist was in the battlefield, not in my hand, you have a Geist in play and a Remand in hand, and they either don't have a board or you can deal with what they have, and they're trying to play these 4-mana sorceries. Remand is just unbelievable in this situation. Because in theory, right, they do this, even if they leave their Knight back, we remand it, we path their Knight, doesn't really matter, but they're going to take 6. We can't trip into another remand, but we just really can't play our spells because of the mistakes. So it's kind of frustrating. instead we're not really doing anything. We draw the white source, but we don't draw a way to deal with the Gideon. So could have played Geist here, but I knew this Gideon was going to come down again. Or I thought. So I think I choose to remand the Fulminator for... Oh, what happened there? That was another mistake, and I think I conceded. I probably should have remanded. I think I just got the path, and then he blew up my white source, of course. Anyway, that was sort of just one mistake followed by another mistake, probably me feeling a bit frustrated, then making another mistake, and the game sort of unraveled. Okay, so I'm sure I didn't really change my boarding. Let's take a look at game 3. Okay, so game 3. And I kept this. I mean, turn 1 Ancestral is exactly what we want against this deck. So, of course, we suspend that. Things are looking great. He's going to play a Grimflayer, to which it makes his future Goyfs bigger, but our Ancestral's checking down. We draw another piece of interaction, and we're 1 mana away from casting from getting Cryptic online, which is going to be really good for us against this deck. And our opponent plays another Fulminator, which is so funny. You know, normally I think like things like Fulminators and I always want to call it Magma Spray, even though that's not what it is. But the, Stone Rain, but the one that's 1 and RR, destroy non-basic land and they take 2, or destroy land and they take 2 if it's non-basic. Like I think, oh, that is not how I want to attack this matchup. However, it worked out pretty well for our opponent. But we do have some inevitability here in that this Ancestral is ticking down, and our opponent isn't really doing much. They're trading their cards for our lands, but we are going to draw more of them. So obviously this Gideon's going to be a problem. We would go ahead and snap Bolt because we have another Bolt here for the Gideon to finish it off. Draw some cards. We do draw another white source. We want to go ahead and finish off the Gideon, suspend an Ancestral, and this was also, I feel, definitely a bit of a punt. I should have just shocked myself with the Sacred Foundry to shoot the Gideon, and then I could have represented, I could have kept up the Spell Snare in addition to representing other things. So I really kind of played this game a bit sloppily in general. And to be fair, I thought I was playing the Friendly League. I want to say that I played these matches at like 2 in the morning after we might have even had company over and had some drinks and hung out until midnight or something, and I was like, I should go to bed, but I kind of just I'll just finish up this league. So I wasn't even really, I wasn't playing. Not only was I not at my best mental state, I wasn't really treating it that seriously. I play Magic for fun, and it's not like every time I sit down and I'm like, all right, we have to be in maximum focus. A lot of times I'm just like, sort of autopiloting. And I think clearly that's what I was doing here, in addition to it being really late. So now our opponent takes that. So even though we're short on lands, I knew we weren't going to have a way to deal with that Scavenging Ooze. And so I Ghost Quartered a an island to get another island so that I could spell snare, which again, just look at how bad that is. If I just shocked myself with the Sacred Foundry to bolt the Gideon, I would not have had to do all that. I really made my life horrifically, unnecessarily difficult. I remember this part of the game, something kind of interesting happened here. So now I have a Cryptic online, and I have an Ancestral ticking down. So I'm thinking all I really need to do is, I have a little bit more inevitability here than my opponent. I just need to buy time. So see when our opponent did this, he taps and then untaps, and I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I feel like he had a Gideon or something like that. And he was like, I don't want to play into all that mana. It's much safer to play Lingering Souls. I'm thinking, that he backed out. That he was going to play something. Because, when you click on something and then start paying for it, if you want to redo it, you have to then Control-Z, undo all your mana, and then click on something else. And so that really, to me, meant that he's like, all right, I want to try to bait out a counter with this. But I decided, I'm like, all right, wait, he's going to put forward power on the battlefield. This thing still has 3 turns to tick down. I just want to buy time. And so here I decided to counter and bounce a token simply because I'm thinking, all right, I'm trying to win with Ancestral here, so let me just buy more turns. Now, another reason this is horrible is I remember thinking for a moment, yeah, then I'll have Snap Cryptic. I didn't really count my mana. And again, it's because because I had to do that stupid whole Ghost Quarter play. I hadn't put myself down a mana. Had I not done that, I would have had Snap Cryptic up here. And so this is, again, one mistake kind of leading into other mistakes / problems. Kind of unfortunate that I felt like this league, for the most part, was played pretty well. We were at 4-0, and then now we can't deal with the Gideon. So we're sort of back having to deal with another one of these difficult to remove permanents. And we still have 2 ticks on the Ancestral here. Thundermaw would definitely deal with him, which would be great. It would also deal with the Spirit Token. We draw Explosives, which I could have just played it out for 0. Probably should have. Again, because I'm, just trying to... What am I going to do with this mana up? I can't Snap Cryptic, so why didn't I just do it? I took 3 unnecessarily. I could be at 9. So our Ancestral comes down, but really it's just going to be too little too late. Not only that, it was not a great Ancestral. We drew these 3 cards, and then our draw for the turn was land. Which here... Here's what the thing about Shinka, and I've decided in the Geist decks, I want to find, I don't know how I'm going to get it in yet, but sometimes you may draw both of these. I don't think that's a big a deal because sometimes you may draw Castle and Mountain. And outside of being fetchable and not working well with Sulfur Falls, this in place of a Mountain doesn't affect the colors at all. So I don't know that I want 2 pure red sources in the deck. I feel like it might have to replace the Mountain. We depend more on white. I think, obviously we're blue, but I think we might not have more white than red in the deck, actually. I think it's just Path and Helix. Anyway, it's nice to give yourself additional ways to interact favorably with Geist. This is basically just a spell. So I want to say that I'm going for the Snap Cryptic to tap, and I hadn't decided if I was going to bounce yet or not, but my opponent had a Surgical Extraction. Told him good game, opponent, and that was it. So that's what happened to round 5 of the competitive league with this old school Jeskai Geist deck. I think had it not been 2:30 in the morning, had I not just been what I thought was playing casually, just sort of playing for fun, that this game could have gone better, this series. But as it stands, this is what it was. And again, I thought I was playing in the friendly leagues and just sort of goofing off. So, all right, so that was that. Let's go ahead and actually finish the friendly league. I lost to, I can't remember what it was Grixis Control. So let's see how this goes. Now that I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, I feel a little tired. It's only 6. I'm not like exhausted. It's not 2 a.m, but I do feel a little sleepy. Have a little dinner in about 50 minutes. But I want to get this finished. I want to get everything set up and queued up so that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, everybody has something to watch. Okay, you guys don't need to wait for this. So see you in a moment. Okay, we will play first. 4 lands, no interaction until turn 3. This has to be a mulligan. No lands, no interaction at all. I think this has to be a mulligan. I think Restoration Angel Electrolyze, was that 4 lands or 5 lands? I guess it was 7 cards, so it's probably 5 lands. The deck can do better than that. I don't think that's a keep. Yeah, we got a mulligan this. What am I even thinking? I mean, I gotta slow my opponent down, right? I guess I'll keep that on top and then just start remanding until we find something else to do. Oh, man. Okay, if it's Scape Shift, it's not the end of the world. If it's Burn, bleh. So probably Scape Shift or 4 color. I guess it could be. I feel like I've played against this Wooded Foot. Okay, so it's Infect. Remands are going to be amazing. We are going to ambush this thing with a Snapcaster Mage because we don't have anything else to do, and we might as well start making him, trade for his making him use his pumps to accomplish nothing. None of the pumps give trample either, so pass priority to me, please, sir. I guess the one thing that could be annoying, we're going to do it anyway, is if he has like a pump and he has Apostle's Blessing. They might play more Apostle's Blessings now. No, I don't know. I don't really know what Infect is doing since the recent bannings. Because here we could like pump Apostle's Blessing and we take extra damage, but I guess that's fine. Then in that case we don't block and we have a Snapcaster Mage to block next turn. We're not going to die this turn, so. Now you have to use a pump spell to trade with my Snapcaster Mage. Trading a snap for a pump. I think that's fine. There's obviously better ways to use it, but it's what we're doing. Not looking too strong, fellas and ladies. Fans, people, not looking great. We are not doing a lot of things. Just going to remand our way into something. Oh, excuse me. In case he attacks, and we're gonna pass priority, obviously. No blocks. What you got, sir? Oh, well, then we're definitely going to remand that because he kicked it, so he can't replay it. Seemed a little like not a great play. I mean, so So here's the question. We know he has a Vines. If we just slam Geist, do we die? 5 cards in hand, probably all pump spells. Like a Might of Old Corrosa. Might of Old Corrosa is death. But he has to do that in his main phase. I guess it's probably going to be difficult for us to kill him. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We think it's going to be difficult for him to kill us unless he does things in his main phase. So if he does that, then we'll just block. It's not ideal, but that's what we'll do. If he doesn't, then I think we'll live, and then if we draw a land, maybe we have like Cryptic up to tap his team or something to that effect. I guess the safer option is that we just block and make him do something, and then these remands are coming out. Yeah, so we could just block and make him trade off some more pump spells. If he mites, we're just blocking, which it looks like he's going to do. Like if he mites, we know he still has the spell with Kicker. Or his was animating. So now he's like 1 less mana left. Let's see. Interesting. Well, obviously I can't block, so pass there. I've never seen somebody put their Glistener Elf on defense. Alright, so let's see. If he blocks and pumps, they can actually counter it and bounce this Inkmoth Nexus. Which Geist will go down to a 1/1, but he'll kill the Glistener Elf, and I think that's completely worth doing. Alternatively, we just remand, but then he has this Inkmoth Nexus, so I think it's just better to do that. He's just passing. It doesn't... Okay, that can't be... Why did you hold the elf back if you just weren't going to... I'm assuming he's going to block based on what he did before. Okay. Yeah, so the plan here is we're just going to Cryptic and tap. Because I'm assuming he's going to activate the Inkmoth Nexus. Now it's completely possible that I would really love him to activate the Inkmoth Nexus with his Breeding Pool, because it's totally possible that we just get blown out with a Spell Pierce, but what else are we doing here? At least now we're pressuring him and we're giving ourselves an opportunity to do something. Okay, so nothing before, but we're at 4. Yeah, I think we just do that. I don't know how many. I feel like they. Okay, so this looks like we're getting spell pierced. Yep, that's gonna do it. Okay. No Thunder Maws, no Cryptic Commands. I wish this was just a Dispel, but it should be fine. We'll take the Dispel, the Pierces, the Negates are okay. I definitely want the... Is it Static Casters? I want these Engineered Explosives. What I don't want, these Remands are relatively horrible. I don't really like the Spell Snares either, actually. I mean, they do counter that one creature they have, but I think for counters we really just want Dispels and Spell Pierces. The Negates are okay. They can also hit various other things. I don't like the Negates as much as I like the Dispels and Spell Pierces. I really just want removal. Wouldn't mind trimming a Geist. But what would I want instead? I don't think any of this is better than the Gate. I guess Surgical isn't completely out of control. But I don't think it's great. I mean, it's good if you know that they have like a Glistener Elf in their hand, but it's not the greatest if you don't, because then it's just not a spell that deals with something that they're going to put into play. So, I don't think Spell Snare really does anything. I mean, it does some stuff, but not a lot. I don't really want to draw this many Geists either. I guess one Remand is not the worst. Let's try this. Yes. And we're going to lead with Steam Vents with the plan to go into Colonnade. This version is not running Logic Knot, but one nice thing is that they Mana Leak, Logic Knot can be really great in this matchup, because the way you can in Colonnade. This version is running the 4 full Colonnades, and the list where I run 2 or 3, it can be less of an issue. But one way that you can really just destroy Infect is by they go like turn 1 Noble Hierarch, you bolt it, now you have Mana Leak up, they go turn 2 Glistener Elf, whatever creature it is, and you get to turn your counterspell into a removal spell by killing their creature, and you get to play Geist of St. Traft on the next turn, which is probably going to win you the game. Okay, so I think here my opponent is probably just going for the yeah, we're going to play this. I think my opponent is probably just going for the I'm going to get my second land in play so I can play a creature with like mana backup, whether it's Spell Pierce or Blossoming Defense, whatever it is. Or yeah, so I think that's what's happening here. So now they'll probably play Glistener Elf and they'll be able to counter it. One question is, are the lists now... I don't want that over there. Let me just take a look here. I want to know if the lists are playing Glistener Elf. I'm sorry, of course I'm playing Glistener Elf. That's not what I meant. I want to know if the lists are playing Mutagenic Growth. Because one potential thing is we go ahead and bolt knowing that he's going to, pump it or whatever. But then, let's see. I guess yeah, that's a little sketch if they're... what are they running on here? Yeah, probably don't want to do that. Maybe he's just playing the 2-mana guy, and then we can just bolt. Okay, so... I think we're just gonna bolt, and snap bolt definitely kills the Glistener Elf. Unless they have a bunch of mutagenic growths, but sure. I'm kind of tempted to do the same thing that I was doing before, which is just so go ahead and play Geist here. And then we have this option to block, which is if he's on 2 mana at this point, so probably not going to suddenly die out of nowhere. And if he feels like, all right, well, I'm going to play my Pump Spells main phase, then we can block if we really want to. I'm not sure how I feel about Electrise actually in this matchup. I guess in theory it's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to block. Okay, so I think we're in a good position here. I've never seen an effect player like get defensive. We'll see if I win or not, but I've never seen a player get defensive with their creatures. And I've seen plenty of effect players not respect the fact that this is going to kill them much quicker than they're probably used to getting killed. But here we have Bolt and we have Snap Bolt. Let's see what happens. The Noble's annoying. I always kill the Noble as soon as I can, because it's pseudo card advantage in the sense that every time they attack, it's like a free pump for 1. I really wish we had a path, because that allows us to sort of, he could go like Might of Old Corrosa, and we're like, that's fine. You get to kind of ignore it. Whereas if he does it now, because we're on bolts, we're sort of forced to potentially begin fighting immediately. Why did he cast it on the Noble? Is that a mistake? God, it's so tempting to just electrolyze here. That's also the Noble that has mana, so right at this point he has... Do I get punished? So if I electrolyze, is he really want to fight over the Nobles? Because he's mutagenicing this one. Is that just to put, like... even if it's just to put cards in the graveyard to feel like... become immense, then why wouldn't you just... Why wouldn't you just... I guess I just don't care. I mean, yeah, it would be lovely to kill these 2 nobles that quickly, but I'm not gonna. I'll let that resolve because it doesn't really kill me. I have to assume that was a mistake on behalf of our opponent. All right, so we know. So at this point, our opponent really just has access to. I hit 5, right? So our opponent has access to, because this is the one that has summoning sickness. So our opponent has access to a blue. So bolt, we could go bolt him down to 8. Snap, bolt him to 5. I think I like getting aggressive here. Because then we still have another snap bolt. So if we bolt right now, our opponent goes to 8. He can't spell pierce it. If he goes snap bolt and he spell pierces, he's at 8. That's 4 in the air, plus a snapcaster mage. Maybe we don't. Maybe we just electrolyze here and here. Maybe this is wrong, but let's see. Because if this doesn't work, then the Snapcaster Mage gives us a blocker for this Glistener Elf, and then we still have interaction for the Noble. It also gets a card out of his hand for not too much value on his end. And if he uses this to activate this, then actually we can just we should be able to electrolyze this and this, and I guess a mutagenic growth saves the creatures at that point, but okay. So opponent already went to... So he can't activate this now. So I think he's just dead. So he would have had to... Because now he's going to go to 1. He didn't animate, so at most he can block like a creature, and then you take 6. Let's just assume that our infect opponent isn't used to blocking. Okay, game 3. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I'm not thrilled about this remand, but I'm really not thrilled about it at all. I mean, I guess, what if we did this? What if we did this? See, I don't think I want Ancestral Vision, though. Like, if I 100% know I can have it on turn 1, then maybe. So if I'm that weak on it, I know that I don't want it. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we have to keep this. We have 3 removal spells. I'm not going to throw that away. I wish we had like a turn 1 bolt for a noble or whatever he plays on the first turn, but we don't. And that's just going to have to be okay. Unfortunately, we only have 1 white source too, so we're going to be kind of limited to only deploying 1 removal spell a turn. But that's a good draw. I'm shocking just to represent more things. God, it is really... If I had like a bolt and a path, I would go ahead and just fire this off. But... Or, well, maybe not. He does have an ink moth. Yeah, I might. I don't know. If he had like an Apostle's Blessing, then trying to do it just doesn't work out very well for us. All right, it's unfortunate. So, not that I want to, but I feel like we have to let this go. Like, if we Helix now, and our opponent mites again, that's just going to be like 9 infect, and if he has a growth, we're just dead. So I think we just have to let that resolve, because he only has 1 green up. So if he mites again or something, we have path. Okay, 7's not dead. Interesting. Opponent's going to have access to plenty of mana for this Ink Moth, and it's not going to take much in the way of pumps to kill us. Oh, now there's another one. Lovely. I'm not going to block. So the issue is being forced, obviously. I think I don't think there's a way we can win this game. It's extraordinarily unlikely that our opponent does not have a protection spell, and because our removal is sort of, we have all of these helixes instead of like paths and helixes and what have you. I mean, we can, like, even if one of these was a bolt, we're better, right? Because now we get to helix, and if our opponent pumps again, we get to bolt in response. But now we're just sort of like, well, we can go snap path, which just lets our opponent know they're free to do whatever they want. So we're kind of forced to respond here. See, and now at least our opponent has to think, okay, do they have a bolt? We haven't used a bolt. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand. They have another Ink Moth, so they either just go for the win here, or they're like, no, you know what? I don't want to use like a Blossomy defense and then get bolted out and get blown out. So, or they can just be like, you know what? If they have it, they have it. And if they do the if you have it, you have it route, which they didn't. All right, so there's a chance. We're probably going to be facing down the exact same situation next turn. Interesting. All right, so let's pass. So many Ink Moths. Shouldn't our opponent be like activating with another land? Oh, this one doesn't do that. That's Blink Moth that pumps. All right. We're going to take 2, and then we're going to... opponent has 1 card in hand. The real question here is, do we electrolyze or do we Staticaster end of turn? I guess electrolyze might be. Well, this is interesting. So electrolyze will draw us a card. But Staticaster will let us try to kill one, and then we get to use it again next turn. So I think that's better. Like Electrolyze could potentially kill both, and draw us into something like a path. But I think Staticaster is fine, better than fine. I think it's good. We're going to obviously shoot this Inkmoth Nexus. We're at 1. The negate could be good. We're going to have to kill both of these creatures 100%. What is the right play here? If we shoot this, then we're still sort of in this unfortunate situation. Well, the thing is we can block this, right? Which we don't necessarily want to do, but we need to be able to pressure his Inkmoth Nexus. Like if we shoot this now, then we still have this, like, gosh, man, why can't this just be like a Bolt or a Path or something cheaper? If we shoot this now and he doesn't have it, then I'm gonna guess he has a land there. I think we Path and we block the Glistener Elf. I think we block. I'm assuming he's going to activate the Inkmoth Nexus, and obviously we can't. We have to act. We can't, because any attack from either one is lethal. And I think what we have to do is block and then fire this off at this. And if he does something in response, then we answer with like an Electrolyze or something. All right, so we go to blocks. We go here. Blocks good. And he pumps the what? I definitely want him to act first. He doesn't have to do anything right now. He does not have to do this. So we're going to do this. And he's going to respond again, and we're going to Electrolyze the Inkmoth and the Glistener, and it's going to be a complete blowout. He didn't have to do anything. He's just giving this away. And we get to keep our Staticaster, and we get to slam Geist of Saint Draft. And our opponent has no cards in hand. There was no reason for him to do anything there. And he had it all too. He had everything every time. His two cards were, he drew either this or this turn, but he really had everything. Sweet. Is there any reason to... There's not. Play this. So if our opponent doesn't draw a creature, we can kill him pretty quickly. And even if he does draw a creature, then we're immediately going to... Okay, so we need to get a source with white in it because we can start firing these helixes off. Not you. This should be it. I mean, our opponent is actually already dead, so just on bolts alone. That is A-okay. Let's start off with this, because he can't even pump it with Pendelhaven. This, and I'd much rather kill with Geist of Saint Draft. Sweet. Okay, so I think that went friendly Modern League, right? Okay, so well, actually, this was pretty cool. So we 4-1'd this friendly league, which you guys didn't see these 3 matches previously. And we 4-1'd the competitive league. Not terrible, right? Yeah, because we lost in the competitive league. I lost at the very end. I want to say it was to Abzan, and the match before that was the Pure Still Paladin deck. And then this match, I won every match except for this one, which was this was the Grixis Control one that I also don't think I played the best against, but cool. You guys didn't just get 5 games; you got 7 games in a week. How about that? Delivering on the goods. So right now I'm playing through a league just because I'm just doing it alongside. I am 2-0. Come on. It's the wrong league. Right? Oh, no. That's right. I just had losses today. I was 2-0. I'm 2-0 in a competitive league. And actually, these players are pretty good. Windrider has 10 undefeated trophies in the league. He was playing Infinity. I don't remember the match exactly, but I don't think I necessarily made any mistakes. His draw was just better than mine. And then, I don't know if this is... There's some famous Magic player named Ale Rade or something. I don't even know how to spell it, if this is the right spelling. But he also has 4 trophies in the competitive league. Also lost to him playing against Affinity, which is actually a good matchup. But against him in the last game, I just had like these super awkward draws with my removal. It was sort of kind of something similar to that game where it was very clunky and I didn't have enough mana or something to that effect. And I had to do some awkward things, but is what it is. But what I wanted to say is this is the deck that I was playing, which is I'm playing Blue-White Flash. And so it's kind of funny. The first 2 matches I played were Griselbrand decks of various kinds. One is classic Griselbrand, and the second one was like this breaking and entering. It played one of those new spells, the one that's like 1 and 2 red, take control of a creature, and cast a spell that costs 3 or less, and they cast breaking and entering, and they put in Emrakul or something like that. But I took the surgical distractions out because I was just looking, and I don't know that I really want to do that, but I was looking at the Magic Online metagame, and Dredge is pretty low, and even Mind Sensor, in theory, if you just look at the metagame numbers, has a lot more utility. So that's what I was trying. I really like this version of the deck. It's really nice to be able to, I mean, your ability to get... The deck has a lot of flexibility, and I don't know if it's just not this one. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Like, let's see. If you wanted to go like against the Griselbrand deck, I'm able to become an almost all flash deck. So I'm able to basically bring in this pile here, take out these Blade Splicers. I'll just put them over here for the moment. Take out these Blade Splicers, and then probably like some of these. So that's 5 there and 6 there. So I'd probably trim on... I don't want to trim on any of this, actually. Probably a Bolt, because it doesn't interact with their creatures as much. So now I have a Runed Halo to name Borborog Most Enraged. And I just get to have 2 Spell Snares, 2 Logic Knots, 2... And this one, I probably don't need that many. I can actually trim a negate out of the sideboard. I don't need a negate here and 2 negates there. Maybe I did that because I swapped it out for something else. I can't remember now. But in this configuration, I get to have 2 Logic, 2 Snares, 2 Logic Knots, 3 negates, 2 Dispels, 3 Cryptic Commands, 4 Spell Quellers. I get to just be such a flash deck that can interact at instant speed. I have a lot of counters. And against spell-based decks, that's totally great. So the other thing that I like about this deck is against the mid-range decks, you can take out the Spell Quellers, which aren't great. And against grindy, so you take these 4 out, you can bring in these Ancestral Visions. Like, say, against Abzan or Jund or something, right? You bring in these Ancestral Visions. You can bring in these 2 Blade Splashers. You can bring in this Cryptic Command. And so then you can take out these 4 Quellers. You could even take out, say, like these Clicks if you wanted to. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably keep these guys in, except against maybe Abzan. You can trim on a negate, a Logic Knot, but you get to bring in like this full... These much grindier cards. You get to bring in all these Ancestral Visions, these natural 2-for-1s in the form of Blade Splicer, and then this really great Go Long card, Cryptic Command. You get to run 3 of them in your deck. So that's really cool as well. I've already talked about these. The one thing the deck doesn't have is it doesn't have Geist of St. Traff, so you just don't have that incredibly quick closing power. But you can't have it all the time, right? Okay, guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. As far as next week, I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I don't feel like playing Azorius Control. Magic Online is freezing. Okay, I don't feel like playing Azorius Control. This isn't really a real deck. This is just something that I threw together a long time ago, mostly to troll a good friend of mine. And if you're going to run a deck like this, I think obviously just like the actual Sun and Moon deck is just better. But it's kind of an interesting idea, I guess. Maybe it's fine. Who knows? I don't know what I'm gonna play. Maybe Blue Moon, probably not. Maybe another Geist deck. I could play the Esper Narset deck. I don't know. We'll see. But I will do my best to play something and bring you guys another league next week. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do. If there's things you didn't like, let me know in the comments so I can address it. As always, thank you everybody, and for those of you who have been watching me for a long time and have stuck with me through my break and all that stuff, I really appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.